Abusia ya makwaba sonko so eba POG Media ene yare meko highway ne so highway ne de ensem bebre wo so a yenso ya agepene se yeba me abedwafo no ahu de eko ene de eba na den na eko so ewo highway ne so eye chief imam aid ena ede ensem bi aba betu jawa expose Dr. Bawumia ense Dr. Bawumia oye obi a oye muslim na the muslim na oye no sisi anaze waye no ho chameleon bi oko Christian no aba Muslim oko Christian no aba Muslim enti no Muslims for no nso e dey aba to just say the Dr. Bawumia ye no a political strategy na oyen because Muslim for no nko aye say omo to aba na omo to aba ma Dr. Bawumia onya ne enya ne tira enti no eye ono ne strategy bi a wafa opese odi win Ghana election 2024 December election no Muslim no nso no omo nso afa omo aho adwen na sa chief imam aid no ono ene kasa ma chief imam na just ono aka dia chief imam ena ahye ne se ombedi sa enkomo no enche Dr. Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia wa exposing a big time a collapse in the campaign na oye ewo NPP ne be pese be me abedwafo no be me akona yakwa akoti ensema ekoso ewo highway ne so na answer na be kono or and some can be a fashion your comment section like na share my phone so answer into me and can be Kevin Taylor about drop hot details about the kind in there actually madam ase.
Ghana na mo nsem hunu na yemu de. This too is another story which is very, very interesting. The chief imam spokesperson actually came on TV to say something, and I feel I have to comment on this issue. Neil Antivandapoy, Massa. Kope baby tina kurana ni panjune no ho, obe disturb ni pa okrom ha. Obe so protecting crime for omo mu disrespecting mu deal with them. Now, this is the spokesperson of the chief imam. His name is Sheikh Ameyao Shaibu. Now, what can say me or say? Dr. Bawumia visiting churches as a Muslim is a political tactic. He knows that even if all Muslims vote for him, he still won't win, so he doesn't want to pick a side. I say Bawumia ewura sorry them. Esa wura edien asori ne edien masalachi no sebio Mahama Bawumia nim say nkremofo mo Ghana nyina krato abama na onwini but the oye no for political reasons your political tactics sebio oye saade no ama ɛyɛ Christopher ɛne ɛyɛ deɛ Muslim for adwene say on the on pick his side inti or catch say deɛ Bawumia yɛ ni nyinaa owura sɔre dɛm mu pie ɛkɔ masala chi pie ni nyinaa politics na ɔyɛ na it is not for people to know who he is or who he really is. Now let's listen to this gentleman, and then after that I'll comment on this. And I really like the questions from the journalist. I think the questions basically at the end of the day forced the spokesperson of the chief imam to actually make statements that he never thought of making, because then he was torn between being a Muslim and also being a Christian. Where should one belong? Should one sacrifice their religion to win political power, or one should still stick to their religion and lie to some people to believe that they support what they also support? In fact, the questions from the journalist was classic, and I really like it. But I also want us to listen to the spokesperson, and then after that, I'll comment briefly on it. Another story. So this is the chief imam spokesperson, Amiyao, Sheikh. Come out. All right, he's here.
But on that point, since you've opened that door, we might as well explore that. In this election that we're heading into, we have Dr. Mahama Bawumia.
Yes.
Father of the NPP. He's Muslim. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the Fourth Republic, this is our first Muslim flag bearer.
Yeah, the first.
Straight to central for a major political party.
There was an attempt by Ali Mahama of the memory. May Allah give him forgiveness.
Yeah.
I mean, he could not get the nod.
But Dr.
Bawumia has had the nod.
For you, and you're the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, does it matter that he straddles across the Muslim faith and also with the Christian faith? I've heard people say that a Muslim straight to censor should not be seen in church praying, fraternizing with the Christian faith. Is that, per the pillars of your faith, an aberration?
It's not an aberration. If there are good reasons why, for example, you find me in a church. I have entered into the church. I've entered into the church with the chief imam. I'm in a Catholic cathedral here on a certain anniversary. I mean, the chief imam was invited, and I went together with him. Apart from the fact that he entered into Christ the King. Because of the interfaith and my interfaith engagement, I also am invited. I'm in Presbyterian church. We have a public lecture in the Presbyterian church. I go there, I give lecture, and so on and so forth.
But you practice their faith.
It doesn't make me less
of a Muslim.
Less a
but
Muslim.
Practicing their faith, does that dent your Islamic faith?
I mean, that's how you describe practicing the faith. I mean, for example, if I go and for example, I have to also behave like every Christian will do. I mean, down deep inside me, that I am a Christian. Though I say I'm a Muslim, but I'm a Christian. Compromising my faith, for example, then there's something wrong.
Where compromising faith will mean what? So, for instance, if a Muslim goes to the Catholic Church and the priest lays hands upon him to pray for him, is that compromising?
I mean, no. I mean, there are things that are done symbolically. Symbolically. I mean, priests come to the chief imam's place.
Yes, to greet.
I mean, to greet him. And then when they are going, they say they want to say a prayer for him. So sometimes I cringe a little bit. I don't know what will happen. So then I will whisper to his ears that, man, say they want to say a prayer for him. Let them pray. He said, let them pray. Reverend Lawrence Tete I've gone with him, and he has asked the chief imam, he wanted to pray for him, and he's held chief imam's hand and prayed. And as he was praying, chief imam says, Amen. I'm into it. Those acts are symbolic to show that friendship. There is something in religious studies we call, those of you who are academics in the study of religions, we have the phenomenological study of religions. Phenomenology is a method of study, method of research, which requires that you bracket your subjectivities and open up in order to understand something. Yeah. So those things are there. So symbolically, you can do something, and those one we call them the empathetic engagement. Empathetic engagement. That's what is
So
that.
for those who view Dr. Bawumia's visits to the churches, should it be seen within the interfaith empathetic?
Yeah, that is within the interfaith and empathetic engagement, and also he's a politician. I'm not a politician.
Yes.
So now, and I want all those who are listening to me. I'm not doing politics.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's a Muslim, but I'm not doing politics.
Yeah.
He's doing political tactics.
To cut across.
Dr. Bawumia knows that even if all Muslims in this country vote for me, he cannot win election. True or false? True. If all Muslims will vote for Bawumia because of the statistics we have.
Yes.
Yes. So politically, it doesn't make sense.
To be on one side.
To be on one side. So he's doing politics. And people must view him from the angle of his political strategy to be able to get the vote from every corner. And like all the politicians do. All the politicians do. They do come to Muslims. And some of them will come to the chief imam and request prayer from him. Chief imam lays hands on politicians. He lays his hand on politicians, and it's in the pictures. People know. Now, when I have met the chief imam, and you find Muslim and Christian politicians have come, they squat and give their heads to the chief imam to hold and pray. It is because of how they see him. But it doesn't make them less Christian.
So, the spokesperson for Chief Imam, ne answer to Bawumia entering church as a Muslim and also trying his best to make sure, say, the Christian fraternity, and as a Ghana for me, Christopher, no, almost so ebedon or see, tactics Bawumia, use or a politician. Mr. Arim Yao say ono the onyo politician, but from the teachings, any the onim as a scholar and as the spokesperson of Chief Imam, no, or say the say obibe ko asori dem sebio any omakosum Muslimi any the Christopher akosum ewo asori dem no sebio basically majority of the time no it does not have any effect and as and denti nipa no de ne som de na opeso ka nyina ne say chief imam kura kwasore dem da na asofo bi kura ba chief imam ho ayeden aso ne nsem eprichi na ne kase mu no o kan bibi efa ayeden an act which is symbolic che say ade bi a wo ya sebio chief imam owura sore dem a enkire se oye kristoni nanso it's a symbol to show say a Christopher and a Sebio, a day in Kremufo or time bia any omuntem. Now, the distinction here is that Mahamudu Bawumia a day in Kremuni and a Sebio a Arimia Eka say, so Mahamudu Bawumia a ura sorry demwa. That means say he knows for a fact to say Kremufo in Akra Tomana and Yadobe president. Ain't the all yena ura sorry dem. Any omo practice it, and I said Sebio, he didn't say he practicing with him, but so once a man for Bawumia sorry them no, or see on it from his standpoint, you know, he sees Bawumia as a politician, and Bawumia is doing what? Bawumia is using what we call political tactics. Now, Osa can be or CBB a frano empathic engagement. Senia obitumi ko obi ho. Na sebio wakotena ne nchen anase onini ni sombako nanso oba wo abekire se sa oye kire we ya meye no meye ede amwate ase se sebio me ne wonsom sombako nanso minua no. Now the question the guy asked him na very tricky, didn't say, does it have a dent on the faith? Because one on say time na Arim Ekasano, the spokesperson of Chief Imam Kasano, or say, going to the church, it should be of a good reason. Now, a good reason, you know, say, I was say, sorry, with the intent that you are not going to deceive somebody. Your gesture or you being at the church, you know, it shows, it should be, say, you are going there with an intent not to deceive. You have to be careful. Also, on Wakasan, I'll say, you can go to a church, but it should be of good reasons. Now, when Bawumia enters a Christian church, and the reason behind it is that I am entering there because I want the Christians to think that I like them or I like their faith, then it means the intent na Bawumia ediura a Christopher asore demono evil intent. He is praying or capitalizing on the religion to deceive people. Because one, the chief imam can go to Asori with a good intent. And that good intent is that when he goes there to go and be the sit in a sermon, what the chief imam goes there to do is not for people to think, say, oh yeah, bibi every a Christopher ho into no waba, but waba with that empathic act, you know, and I say what you call the empathic engagement, just to show love, just to show we are doing good. But in his own submission, or say the intent, the intention, you have to have a good reason. Now, going to a church and going to worship with Christians, for them to think that you are one of them, or you basically love them, or you believe in their faith, you know, all because of power, no, then the intent is wrong. That means the intent about it is a bad intent, and Allah hates that. That is the distinction between chief imam allowing pastors to pray for him or going to a church and Mahamudu Bawumia&NPP. Mahamudu Bawumia&NPP say he's doing what Allah hates, and what Allah hates is using his name to deceive men. Because you see, when Bawumia is entering these churches, he's going there with an intent. And that intent, you know, for it to be realized, you know, he needs to pretend. And when you pretend before men that you like their faith, and because you hide behind that religion, then you are basically doing what Allah hates. Because what Allah hates is pretense, and you using his name, and you using the religion that many people have faith in and believe in, that through the religion, they will go to paradise. If you are using that for political, the political advantage or political the benefiter, then it means Mahamudu Bawumia is committing the highest crime on this land. And we all listen to the chief imam spokesperson's explanations, and I don't have a problem with Mr. Sheikh Amiao, but what I am trying to do is say, from the scholar or the chief imam spokesperson, then if you are going to break it down into smaller pieces, where we are talking about good reasons or good intentions in entering a church as a Muslim, the intentions of Bawumia is not a good intention. That intention is evil because he's misleading men and is using their religion to mislead men. That is why when he was making a case, he said chief imam allows pastors or he goes to church, you see, you understood him because the intent behind it, the intent was to make sure said chief imam only adwene boni bia nti na okwa sorry dem ho. And yes, okwa because he wants some Christians to love him. And yes, alcohol for Christians to do what? Ignore their faith and can't believe in the Muslim faith. He's going there with the heart that we are all Ghanaians and that I am here as one of you and not here because come and be a Muslim. But Mahamudu Bawumia is going what? Is going in there to do what? To use the same religion to convince them because he's coming as a Muslim. And the intent behind his religion is that because I'm a Muslim and I have come here, you have to understand that it is because of power in Tinamaba. Now, when you break down the word political tactics, when you break that word down, This is what you get, and I didn't make these definitions up. It is there. You can go and go check. Now, the political tactics are a subject of political behavior that is used by a social actor for influencing other social actors to earn life interests. Now, political tactics used in organizations differ from influence tactics, but they have close similarities. Inti yaka political tactics, the exact word that I shake ni use here now, it is Bawumia capitalizing on the religion to influence people. Now, Bawumia didn't go there to tell them, say, you know, Christopher. Bawumia knows if all Muslims vote for him, he's not going to be president. So he needs to pretend. He needs to do what? Go there with the intent of convincing them that I am one of you. And when you use religion to do that, political tactics says it is subset of political behavior that is used by social actor for influencing other social actors to earn self-interest. So Bawumia enters churches for self-interest, all because of power, not because he basically wants to be with them. So the empathic neutrality. And also another thing, it is used to empathic neutrality. You can also say it is basically deception, like somebody is saying here. Empathic engagement. It is deceptive. It is deception. You are trying to lie to people indirectly. They wouldn't know. So from the explanation from the chief imam spokesperson, he has no problems, and I don't have any problem with him. But if I want to break down his statement, then it is looking more likely, mostly, say Bawumia is basically lying to people and using the faith, the Islamic faith, or the Muslim religion. And Allah knows and hates people who hide behind faith for power. Now, let me tell you something here. There's one thing I want us to talk about today, Mr. S, Mr. P, Mr. S, Mr. P. Okay, let's.
Highway so Dr. Bawumia and our chief imam aid about be exposing any asem ketwa kra Muslims no omode de omo say omo trying say 2024 December elections no and be show omo power on Dr. Bawumia any asem ketwa kra ye better abija fo say omo je pene kokoti sa audio we e de mi aha POG Media political trending stories bia e make waves bia no yen so ya je pene say yeah, the bedroom. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so that any updates be able drop piano. Also, able to me akabi. Madam Ase.